So I can't tell you how many people have asked me what uranium companies I'm interested in. Well, you need to have a portfolio if you want to do really well in the upcoming, hopefully soon, uranium bull market. And this is a nice little option that I've been exposed to just now. Hi, this is Fabi with Equity.Guru, and today I want to talk about a company that you might be overlooking in your uranium portfolio. Now, I know that this company has had a lot of promotion out, and right now their share price is ripe because compared to just a few months ago and compared to the current NPV, it's not expensive at all. Now, I respect if you're into explorers. I think you need to have exposure to current producing uranium companies, but it's good to have at least one or two possible developers. Now, the reason why I say that is if you take a look at the last uranium bull market and you take the likes of Paladin from 1 cent to almost $10, I know, 1,000-fold gain. That was a developer. So they went from resource to production. That is where you get a lot of the value in a bull market. Let's take a look at it. So Blue Sky Uranium Corp is a company that operates in Argentina in uranium and vanadium. Now, vanadium was all the rage not too long ago. It has recently come down in price by a lot, but the jury's still out on whether that can return, because that's very closely linked to China and their building code. Long term, there's still a lot of price discovery to happen in the vanadium market, so you gotta keep an eye out. Regardless, let's talk about uranium. So Blue Sky Uranium Corp, because it's a company that has projects in Argentina, the first thing that I tell everybody is, well, take a look at what's happening to Argentina. They're going through very difficult economic times since I can remember. Being from Brazil, I've heard about it a lot. And one thing I can tell you, your dollars will go much, much farther in Argentina today than they did even 5-10 years ago. So if you are selling into a market that's going to pay you in dollars, and you have even some of your costs in the local currency, then guess what? You are probably going to do better than those who have their costs 100% in dollars. By the way, this is what's happening with Australian companies that have been producing gold. Because of a weak Australian dollar, they have been able to make more money. They're cashed up, and now they're buying up Canadian companies like there's no tomorrow. So back to Blue Sky Uranium Corp. 22.7 million pounds of U3O8 inferred. So this needs to grow in confidence, meaning they are going to come back to this, maybe increase the resource, hopefully, and increase the certainty that the resource is there. At 311 parts per million uranium, I care more about this number here. An NPV of $135 million. And when you see an NPV, make sure that, especially if it's at a PEA level, which is a very early stage study, that the NPV is 8 or higher. It's got to be 8. If it's 5, then forget about it. They're probably trying too hard to sell the story. The other thing you have to be careful is with the NPV, you have to look at the relationship between the initial capex and the NPV. Theirs is just under the NPV. You want that. You want it to be under the NPV, or else you're going to spend a lot of money in order to have not very much back. The IRR is a very healthy 29.3%. After tax, this is even more important. And the resource that they have found is in one of their projects. It's very close to surface, so I imagine that costs are going to be very low. Now, the PEA is on the Ivana project, and you have to take a look at the assumptions. This is a huge lesson for those of us who are invested in uranium, like myself. So I like to have a broad range of different companies when it comes to uranium, and I'll tell you why. Some companies are very good, but they will take a long time in order to be discovered by the market because they just don't put themselves out there, they don't promote. There are two ways of looking at this. You want the fundamental story to be good, you want the project to be good, you want the management to be experienced, but at the same time, people need to hear about it. And Blue Sky Uranium Corp has proved that it can get the word out. And if you believe in the uranium market coming back, even remotely close to what it did in the last bull market, then you have to look at Blue Sky Uranium Corp because these guys are able to get the word out there. Now, you will see that the PEA on pretty much all uranium projects right now is at $50 or more. I've seen 55 and 60 to be honest. So looking at this at $50 is not at all uncommon. And the vanadium price is at $15 per pound. Today's uranium price is about $25 and vanadium is sitting at, I believe, just under 10. The strip ratio is basically a relationship between waste and ore. You want that very low. 1.1 to 1 is very low, so that's good. And like I said, the initial capex is under the NPV. Now, the good thing about the Havana project is that it's an in-situ recovery project. And I like those in particular because you're basically pumping a solution into the ground and it is much, much cheaper than conventional mining. You can tell that the cheapest or most, I guess, of the cheapest uranium is mined with this methodology. So I would expect the Havana deposit to be in the lowest quartile when it comes to the cost of uranium. Now, just to put things into perspective, we are just talking about the Havana deposit. So this is just one area here. There are still a lot of different areas that show potential but haven't been fully drilled yet. So this is a small part of the overall holding that Blue Sky Uranium has. So one of the questions is, can they expand that resource? And they are already working on that. They're working on an exploration program. Like I said, your hard-earned dollars go farther in Argentina, so I expect them to do quite a program with that. Be on the lookout for the results. I also expect Blue Sky to do very well in a bull market, and I'll tell you why. $128 million is not very much money in order to get it going. This is raisable money as long as there's a positive market in uranium, as long as, the price of the commodity is 50 pounds or $50 per pound, which I very much believe it will. I have a lot of money on the line betting that it's gonna surpass $60 per pound within the next few years. So this is not, a $1 billion project just to get things going. It's not a $2 billion project. This is under the category of raisable money. The other thing I want to show is that if you get in now, you're buying at the lows. Now, obviously, it's your decision what to do with your money. I'm not a financial advisor, but not only are they close to 52-week lows, they are also raising at the moment. So if you're accredited, do know that this has been published. It's a forwarrant for 3 years. So if you believe in the uranium story, if you believe that uranium is coming back within that time, and you want to spread your bets, I would not bet against Blue Sky Uranium. When it comes to management team, one of the most important things in Latin America is dealing with people that have been working in Latin America for a very long time. There aren't that many beginners that go and venture out and understand the politics that's involved in getting a project off the ground. Now, Joseph Grosso, who is the chairman of the company, is also a founder, as I understand it, of Golden Era Resources. In 2018, they actually put a silver project into production. I don't know how much you know about silver, but if you are able to put a silver project into production in 2018, you're either crazy or a genius in my book. So you want people who have done this before, and that's a great indicator. So lots of potential if they can expand, lots of potential if they can keep their costs down. This is a nice little way of diversifying out of the larger, well-known uranium companies, and the timing just seems to be right. This is Blue Sky Uranium Corp.